Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to season 2 of the Creative Revolution broadcast. I am your hostess with the mostest for this moment, Julie G. Vegas, in studio with my beloved
Second Sight. As you know, I like to go by my artist name, and I don't really like to be on camera personally. I always had the idea of doing like the lower part of my face, but it'd just be too complicated right now for us. We just set up this little scene. Actually, it was already here. We just kind of
hijacked this little scene.
Yeah, this is our not even our living room. This is like some weird room in the middle of our house that we just set up. And
this is a gym. This is a jam space. This is a party room. This is the broadcast area. This is our multi-functioning room because we're artists, and artists don't have normal lives. I personally don't think.
And this is the 777 space. It's like everything fits into this, probably 20 by 20 space.
Yeah.
And this is where we're recording right now. So I wear my shades, and I'll probably wear more maybe disguises like Mr. Potato Head here. And just switch it up because we're going visual now.
We're going visual.
If you're listening on the non-visual one, there is going to be a visual component on YouTube. I don't know where else, but
the internet.
The internet there.
The internet there.
Inside joke.
Yes. And so if you see me going from this height to this height, it's because, like we said, this is a gym, and it's also this is my office. I also work here, and so I have a standing walking desk, and so I like to get 10,000 steps
she
a day.
Works and walks.
So I've got my walking pad back here, and so I walk on that too. And so I might be going like this and 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 like this, because you guys can see us now. So with that being said, welcome to season 2. At the end of season 1, we went on a bit of a rant. Because last season, we shared a lot of info. We shared a lot of info from the Word of God, but also from the depths of our souls and from deep, dark, dangerous rabbit holes. And so if you've been tracking along with us, like I said at the end of season 1, we went off on a bit of a emotional tangent, I would say, because like in all honesty, for those of you who are tracking and those of you who are new here, it's not easy to be constantly blowing a horn, to be sounding an alarm, to be yelling from the rooftops, yo, things are falling apart. We got to do something before it's too late. It gets exhausting because using your voice and energetically projecting it outward to share a message, it takes a lot. And we've
just been exhausted for the whole winter, just recharging. So now we're back. I think it's been a couple months.
Yeah, our last episode was in December. And so now here we are at the end of February. We're launching here into season 2, which is kind of cool because we are not exactly starting in alignment with the new year, but according to the Hebrew calendar, this is the last year of the Hebrew calendar. And so it's a nice time to kind of get our bearings straight, kind of give you guys an overview of what to expect in this coming season, and then really launch full throttle in the next year at the spring equinox, which is in March. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can track back to our older episodes where I talk about calendar, I talk about time, I talk about God's high holy days and appointed feasts and festivals and all that stuff, because that's where we're at. That's where we've been at for a long time. And it really has nothing to do with the episode that we're bringing you today. But I just thought that I would say it anyway, because this season we've decided, like I said, to get a little bit more existential, meaning that we're like inviting you visually into our reality, into our existence. And so in doing that, we're hoping a little bit that it would help you make believe or it would make you believe by seeing into our eyes when we're sharing information. You're like, wow, I can actually trust these people. Like the things they say may sound a little erratic, but it looks like pure. Like their eyes don't look demonic. They're not shape-shifting like the reptilian newscasters that I see on the mainstream media. Surely to goodness, these people know what they're talking about. And we do. We really, really do.
How can you not trust this face?
How can you not? So here we are in this room, and this is where we're going to be for a little while. And to keep you a little bit excited and a little bit invested, you can expect a little bit of a show and tell here because, like I said, we're inviting you into our existence. We have a lot of cool stuff that you obviously don't see on camera, but we have cool stuff. Like, our house is filled with cool stuff. People come over here, they're like, whoa, where am I? And that's exactly.
It's like sensory overload. It's
is.
like an art gallery.
Yeah. And so we're going to do a little bit of show and tell sometimes on this series. And as you notice, Adam's wearing sunglasses. And so you can expect Adam to be dressed to impress each and every time we show up for this broadcast. And there's going to be little elements of change. And so if you can pick up on that from episode to episode and you call us out in the comment section, we have a special treat for you. Very, very special treat for you.
What's that?
Okay. If you notice what's different, whether it be Adam, whether it be with the set, and you call it out, you put it in the comment section, we're going to personally send you the entire series of Firefly.
The best series ever.
And there's only one season, so it's really easy to watch, but it will revolutionize your days and help you get into flow with us and with Into Flow Kratom, in case you are watching it late at night and you need to have a boost of energy.
All right. And it could be completely different too. We have many different areas that we can film in our house, and it may just be completely different. So everybody will get a free copy of the best show.
Yes. So to kick off this season 2, we are officially calling this episode right here, right now, the 777 Disclosure.
Yeah, because after we've thought a lot, just going through a lot of things and having a lot of time in this cold, dark winter, we might do, I guess, a little bit more ranting here, but we're ranting with purpose, that we're going to get everything out that our entire message in this episode, because we don't want to be a broken record anymore. And, we have had a lot of disappointments and the efforts that we're trying to put out, and we can't keep doing that. So we're going to refer back and point people to this episode so they know what we're about and like the message that we are trying to bring, and what is the creative revolution. So this is what we're going to talk about, and we're just going to go over that.
We're going to go over that in detail, painstaking detail right now. So grab a pen, grab a cat, put it on your lap, and get ready for this 777 Disclosure.
Yeah, because people love to come around us. We've created many awesome containers, events, and from Bible studies to parties to clothing swaps,
art openings.
Yeah, it was created
festivals,
a lot of creative energy, and that essence is the creative revolution, because we are created, therefore we create, and we're just trying to be like our creator. And so that's the essence of what we do. But we also feel like we're on mission here, because obviously things are not perfect in this world. There's a lot of things going on, and we are very schooled in a lot of these things, and we see, like, I have a spirit of discernment that God's given me, and for about 20 years now I've been researching, I've been seeing things with my own eyes and piecing it together, and the truth community as a whole is making progress, putting together the big picture. There's things that are just set in stone. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The conspiracy theorists are being proven true time and time again. And, we know a lot of this, and we've revealed a lot of this in our
System Error.
It was maybe like 5 or 6 episodes that we went through the entire plan of the New World Order. Like, the New World Order is the Illuminati / all the shadow governments working together is a reality. And we disclosed that, and we put forth their entire plan, and we've been pushing answers to build community as well. We've been doing all these things for years, and it feels like, people kind of get it, even people that comprehend what's going on in the bigger picture. Everybody is still very hesitant to actually commit to anything, and that's, I guess, the very frustrating thing. Even getting a team together to put on events to influence the world in a better way, there's a big problem with society, and it boils down to, just the Babylonian system we're involved with, the social media, with everything.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting because social media and just even the internet as a whole, at first, when it first came about, to us, the general populace, it was interesting, right? Because we suddenly had access to people across the world, and it was kind of exciting, and there was information at our fingertips. What did they used to call it? The information highway. So it was something quite unique, but it very, very quickly isolated us as individuals and human beings. It took us...
Connected us, but disconnected us.
Yeah. And so I truly see that right here, right now, in this specific day and age, this moment in time that we are living, that programming, like what the powers that be intended with the internet, like one of the many intentions, I guess we could say, to connect but disconnect us, give us this illusion of connection, and ultimately, they want us connected into this metaverse situation. Like, it's worked. And I even see like little bits of it within myself, and I have to check myself, like I come from a generation where you picked up the phone, like you had to use a telephone if you wanted to contact anybody. And so nowadays I don't, when people call me, I don't answer the phone. Half the time I have my phone turned off. I got the ringer turned off so that I don't get freaking caught on a call with somebody and they won't let me go. And like, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy to see that change within myself. And so I have to do the work to backtrack and reprogram and allow myself to connect with my friends and family in that way again, because it's harmonious and it's natural and it's actual connection versus like a stupid text message. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, all that to say, I don't know what that is to say.
And like, we fully realize we are, now making videos that are going on social media, but it's out of frustration because this is wasn't the first thing that we tried to do. We tried to bring together people in real life, and we have been
lots,
but
yeah. So something that I was thinking when we were prepping for this episode, as I was like reflecting back, like Adam and I have been married for 14 years, and it's like one of the things that brought us together obviously was God, but was the fact that we were both like on the same level in regards to how we comprehended reality. Like, we were both aware of the fact at that point in time that 9/11 was an inside job. You know what I mean? We weren't confused that there was an elite force, running things behind the scenes. Like, we knew these things. And so I was like, of course I can get married to this man. You know what I mean? He's not hoodwinked. He's no fool. He knows things. And we can carry on this conversation and, not fight about it. We can be like, yeah, this is crazy. Let's dive deeper into this rabbit hole together, which feels nice to like go down a rabbit hole and not be alone. Anyways, long story short, we have been sharing this message with our communities since the very beginning. Like, we have always been opening our home or hosting events or just doing things and sharing the truth, right? Because when the truth is set you free and you have that freedom within you, you can't help but share it, because you also want those around you who you love to also be free and to not be trapped and to be victimized and to be held in bondage and to have their lives destroyed by these horrible things, right? And so, yeah, like, we have done tons of stuff. Like, I remember reflecting back to like when we were living on Echo Dale. We did a couple of events that were called the Future Freedom Farm, and folks were coming over and learning about Bitcoin, learning about permaculture and sustainable agriculture and all sorts of stuff. And I'm just like, man, we have absolutely been sharing this message and like sharing solutions, like not just the type of folks who are like, oh my gosh, horror is coming, be afraid, but it's like, things are gonna change, and if we begin to act now, we could all be pretty set up for a glorious future. And yeah, it's almost like,
well, there is going to become a point where it's just too late, and it's like a 2020 we really thought that people would wake up, and a lot of people did.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that woke up, but not enough people that woke up and actually took action.
Yeah, because what I noticed is like because like I said, we were doing stuff and having conversations and learning and growing like before COVID, because we always knew that Agenda 2020 was a thing and it was coming down the pipe. And we were always wondering like, what is going to be the play? Like, how are they going to like actually do it? Or how are they going to like get this next phase of like clamp down and control? How are they going to do it? And so when they did COVID, we just like, this is what they're doing. Okay, very interesting.
And I was just shocked that I already was against society in general and didn't feel like I fit in and thought that they were brainwashed. But I just couldn't believe to the level that people obeyed the government, even and the lies. One day it was one thing, the next day it was another, and they would believe it and attack everybody else. Like wearing masks, like mandatory masks. It just blew my mind that people were just did it and then attacked people that didn't do it. Like,
no, it's totally insane. So like 2020 happened, right? And we all have lived, like we've all lived through that. It was like 2020. It still lives on in our hearts and in our minds, and for some, in their physical bodies, because it was a pivotal time in history for us as a society and as human race on Earth. And so during that time period, you know, many of us who were already awakened and had already had thoughts and about, you know, what we should do, this, that, and the other thing, we all continued to gather, and we gathered more, and these meetings became more fervent, and the conversations were more passionate, but yet they all lacked actual action. Like that was the thing that came out of all of this was literally nothing. At a certain point, I had to back away from these meetings because they felt more like therapy sessions where folks had to vocalize their trauma, because yes, indeed, we were all traumatized. Like what they did to us was horrible, and we will all carry that with us as long as we are humans on Earth. And I'm truly believing that if we just learn to forgive them, we could probably find certain levels of freedom in and from that. But that's the point, is that no real action as a collective was really taken. And so in that, you know, it also kind of started to make me realize that humanity is freaking doomed.
That's why we need a savior. You know,
I mean, that is
it's
absolutely
like
true.
The masses, the herd, like we are sheep led to the slaughter. Unless you get off that conveyor belt, you know, you're eventually going to be slaughtered along with everybody else. And this is the thing, is that 2020 happened, and then as you know, the restrictions lifted and life kind of went back to normal. You know, like people forgot about it and they went back to doing what they normally do. But even they didn't stop to think. It's like, wow, this was all a lie, and the government did this, and
we cannot trust them. Now anything and everything they say we know is an utter lie.
And we know the bigger plan.
Yeah.
Like this is just the beginning of it. There's a lot more that they are planning to do, and who is ready? You know, we're as ready as we can be as a couple. You know, I sacrificed a lot since 2020 happened. I bought a bush lot and built a geodesic dome, and now we have a place to go in an emergency. But that took a great deal of sacrifice, and I wanted to do that together with community. Our first thing that we did, even before that, I think 2018, 2017, we were having mini festivals on our land saying, this is a great idea. Can you see what's going on in the world? Let's buy land together and let's build our houses and start growing food and throw festivals as an economy. Mm-hmm. And you know what? People are like, oh, that's nice. People love to come out and dance and, you know, have some food. But no, like 0 people, you know, came and dedicated. And even on the Freedom Networks, the Freedom Cells thing, we linked up with some people on there. And, you know, like, people wanted that, but then they didn't want that. They didn't want to put the sacrifice in the effort, because to do this, like it's scary to face the monster, and people are afraid to face the monster. They rather stay in their comfort zone. They rather stay in this comfortable, convenient society, even though they're not truly happy, even though they know that it is still quite oppressive. It's not freedom. They know it, and they just keep grinding and grinding because they feel that if they risk it all, they might lose the little bit that they have, you know. But when you face the scary monster, what does that give you?
Bravery.
You know, you become brave, and out of bravery comes the fruit, and you trust God. Like, it's obvious that we shouldn't be giving into the satanic system in all these ways that is enslaving us. And the obvious godly path, if you care about the Creator and His will and connecting with Source, you need to stop as a whole, as a community. We need to stop and turn around and go the other direction, because I think that the main message from the Creator is, come out of her, my people, so you share not in her plagues. And I really feel that deep down in my spirit. That is the message. And if you don't get the message, you're going to get the plague, and you're going to suffer in that way.
And that's not what anybody wants.
No, we don't want that.
No.
And it's a lot better with strong community. And like, for years we were looking at the 12 tribes and learning what they're about because they live off the land and, they have a very tight-knit community.
And they have like their yellow deli, so they have their way of like economy and all of that stuff.
Yeah, but unfortunately...
They're local.
Yeah, they have too many rules and
they're a cult.
They're very culty. They're not
very
traditional cult because there's no one leader, but all of their rules, it's like we would never fit into that.
No.
They expect us to dress a certain way, act a certain way. And then we also I've been researching about the Amish, and it's I'm very impressed by the Amish because if you look at their community as a whole, like COVID didn't touch them because they just kept farming. They kept educating their kids. They kept building houses. They kept doing all these things because they don't have the technology around them. They aren't watching the news. They don't believe in vaccinations or any of these things. So
they're literally living their best lives. And I think something too that's quite interesting about the Amish when we watched like this video about them is that they are quite in tune with where we're actually at on the biblical timeline. Like they're not hoodwinked into thinking like Jesus is coming back and we're gonna get the millennial reign. We're all gonna get to rule and reign.
Yeah, right in their historic books, it says that they believed Christ already reigned.
Yeah, like they know that we're living in Satan's little season, and they believe that like technology and all these devices are used to enslave humanity and to further the agenda of the beast system. And so they got some things right. And then something else that we thought was cool, Adam, if you want to explain it, is the way that they like raise their kids and then let their kids go out into the world.
Yeah, they raise their kids in the Amish way, and then when they become of age, it's called something, I can't remember what it's called, but they give you the season of you can go out and experience the world, and they go out and there's like videos that we saw in the documentary of the Amish kids smoking and drinking, and there's even like times where they're dealing cocaine and got in trouble, but like they got to go, they gave them their freedom to see what the world's like, and most of them come back and they say, okay, we're going to become Amish. They give them the choice, and then when they do, they become baptized, and then they're in it. They have to obey for life, or if they leave, they're cut off from the community. So it's like they give them the choice to choose that life, and I really respect that, instead of like raising your kids and not giving them any choice, and then when they don't want to do this life, they go off and they're excommunicated from their family. Like that's horrible. Like it should never be like that. And so many churches are like that. They believe that they're the only true church, and that if you're not in their certain fellowship or denomination, that you're not truly saved. And if you leave or go somewhere else, like nobody talks to you. And this is what I got really sick of in the church, is putting in 4 years of being like the most dedicated member. And then when I start voicing the things that God's sharing to me and revealing all this revelation, it's like they can't handle it. They disassociate with me. And then when I end up leaving, like nobody contacts me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, is that love? That's absolutely not love. The church has way too much righteous judgment. And I can't even go to church anymore. I desperately want community, but I can't go to these churches because Satan's been sowing the seeds so long from the top down, and it's just not a healthy environment.
No, it's sick. The church is sick, and we've talked about that a lot in season 1, because it's sad, and like our hearts grieve it, because the body of Christ is what Christ is all about, and the church is supposed to be the body of Christ. And so it's really sad, because it's not like we have it all together and we're super healthy and we know everything, right? But like we can't be grafted into like this sick and dying situation,
And it's not to say that like the church doesn't do any good, because a lot of people get saved and they're like around their friends drinking and smoking, and they come into a completely different environment where they're still learning from the Bible. They have people that believe and are still investing into their lives a bit. But, as you're in there for years, you're going to see the things that we're talking about, and you're going to want more, and you're going to realize what's happening. You're either going to make you exactly like them, or you're going to end up getting hurt and offended. And I'm not just talking about... a lot of people will say, oh, it's just you, and you're the problem if you go around to every church and you keep getting offended or whatever. Or the real reality is that no, the church is so way off base. I want the true thing. I want the authentic thing. And that's the reality, is that it is nothing like the Book of the Acts church. We're supposed to live more like the Book of the Acts church, more in community, more creating this separation like the Amish have. You know, we don't need to have big long beards and do like listen to their type of music.
Any of that. The reality is that we're supposed to be the salt of the earth. We're supposed to be the light of the world. And so that means that we don't look like, we don't operate like the way that the world does. And I think it's really crazy too, like nowadays. And I even think this of my own self, having tattoos and everything like all over my body. I see that, and I see all these women getting like facelifts and lip injections and all of these like mods to their face and stuff like that. And I see that as like a conformity to Babylon and to the world, you know. And it's just like, so then you can very easily see like, oh yeah. Or very easily be judged as like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's Babylon, that's the world. Whereas we're called to be different and to show a better way. Jesus called us to show the world a better way that's filled with light and life and peace and hope and abundance. And you know, the world has just gone so far astray. And so anyways, to dial that back into, you know, the disclosure part of all of this, it's like, yeah, man, the church has gone off the deep end, but so has everything else. And so in our system error episode, we just went over absolutely everything, but let's just give a quick little play-by-play here on the fact that number one,
recap of what, summing it all up, just of what we're trying to warn people about.
And like this shouldn't come as a shock to you in any way, shape, or form. The government is evil. Okay, they're not for us. They want to control us, or they want to kill us.
Freedom is essential. We had a sign in the back of our car during COVID saying freedom is essential because it is. If we allow them to take and they're coming for all of your freedoms. They're not looking to just take a little bit. The government takes everything. If you can look at their taxing method of taking basically half of your wealth, how do they justify that? And then our services are so bad. Like it is so plain and obvious of like what's going on that you're just living in a delusion if you even have a little thought that the government is there for us and that they're just some normal organization is just a little bit of bad apples. No, how do they take half of your wealth? Like it's crazy. The amount of taxes that they take and just try and run a business or do anything or build something. There's like 1 million permits you need and like crazy permits, like $90,000 to put a driveway into a municipal road. Like why? It's just the permit. And when you realize when you go to do things, why things cost so much, a lot of the times it's because of all the regulation and the permits that are just unnecessary burdens on the people.
Yeah. And so I don't know why I didn't know this, but yesterday Adam and I were on a walk and we're just talking about money and taxes and the government and this and that. And Adam was saying that, like, if you don't pay your taxes, then the government could put you in jail.
I can't believe you didn't know that because obviously that's one of the big things. Like, a lot of the artists that make tons of money, they go to jail for tax evasion.
I don't know how. I think because I'm just like I've really disassociated myself with the world system, you know. And the more I disassociate myself with it, the more when I refine things out, I can't believe it. Like, going to jail for not giving this pedophilic, satanic organization your money? I don't freaking think so. So I was just like going through this whole scenario in my mind that like what would happen if I like, I don't know, say won the lottery. Like as if I'm giving them any of that money. Like I won it. It's a prize. I won a prize. You're not getting any of my prize money. I would go to jail. I would go to jail because I know that my God is greater and he would make a spectacle out of the whole thing and I would walk out of there with all the money in my pockets. That's just me. I can't say what would happen for you. And
if you listen to our sovereignty episode, there's a lot of people that were put in jail for 2 nights because they refused to pay taxes, and they had to be let go because they stood on their sovereignty. The taxes only apply to your straw man, your corporation. And when you comprehended that separation, you know, you don't have to do all the things. There's no agreement. There's no agreement that you have to do anything if you're exercising your flesh and blood.
Amen. So then, after that, the government, evil as hell, the healthcare system is also fully corrupted. It's been hijacked by the Rockefellers, hello, and it's married to the corporate food system. They want us sick so they can prescribe us drugs and keep us sick and keep profiting off of all of that.
And right now, what our government is doing is they're banning like health food products. They're making it you a criminal for, let's say you were importing vitamin C or whatever health product it is. They're going to make it so that you could go to jail for doing it, like drug trafficking, and they want you to eat the poison.
It's disgusting. Monetary system. Guess what, baby? That thing has hoodwinked all of us. They have us trading our precious time for little pieces of paper. Little pieces of paper is what we all freaking go out of this house time and time again, day after day. We travel, we do all these things for little pieces of paper that have zero value.
Have you noticed since the government printed all that money during COVID that everything's a lot more expensive now? That's called inflation.
Inflation. I bought a bag of coffee beans today for $27. Adam almost had a meltdown.
I couldn't believe it because I was back in the day when it was like $16, $17 for like, the craft coffee and you get in a bag that's not ground. And I don't know. I guess I wasn't paying attention.
He's like, what? Isn't it $16? I was like,
I'm like, put it back. We're not getting it here. And
coffee hasn't been $16 for the past 5 years. But anyways, they smell and look like really
inflation.
Really good beans.
And what do you think one of the next big things is like crashing the currencies? All your value, you think that you saved your parents have any money for you left over if they got it in RSPs or whatever it is? Absolutely not.
Inheritance tax, baby.
Yeah, well, they also are making special inheritance taxes and everything. And right now in the UK, I don't know if this is on the main news, but I have a YouTube account and I get fed some freedom channels. And apparently there's huge, crazy out of control protests. The police are losing control. These farmers and their tractors, and even some of them got a hold of tanks. They weren't firing the tanks or whatever. Maybe they're.
But they could.
Well, I don't know if they could or not, but they were there, and it was crazy because they're making it impossible for these generation of farmers who don't make a ton of money to pass on their farms to their kids because the tax is so high, and they're setting it up so the corporations will be in full control of the food supply. And so what this is, they're using food as a weapon. Not only is it all poison food and GMO'd and sprayed with all this crap, is that they're going to cut off the supply and use that as a means to force their agenda upon you.
Yep.
So you're thinking about food shortages. You're thinking about money collapsing, the wealth collapsing that you have. It's like we have given strategies to protect ourselves during these times. And we only could do so much as two, but as a community, we could do a lot more. Mm-hmm. But people are unwilling to be brave and take those steps, because really the community that we envision, the church that we could envision, we talked a lot about the body in the past year and the true church and how it should be operating. If we were able to do that with a group of people, even a small group of people, we would come together and we would become as one, and that's what
I think
what
you
Christ
probably
wants.
need to speak more into your microphone.
Probably. If it goes up and down, there's
I can hear you, but I'm looking over and you're like, as one. We need to be as one.
Well, anyways, there's a little tool called compression, which can fix some of that.
Good.
We can maybe do that. But this is our first video episode, so a little bit of grace.
Of course, a little bit of grace.
Now, what was I ranting about?
Anyways, listen. The food system, they're going to use that as a weapon. That's what you're ranting about. But
yeah, they are using it as a weapon.
I think we can move on to the next part of just a little bit of the recap is we got the media outlets, okay? Media outlets, all of them. News, television, movies, all of it. Let's be reminded that all of this is run by blood-sucking pedophiles, okay? They drink the blood of children. This is messed up, okay? You cannot give it any of your time at all. You cannot trust anything that is coming out of their disgusting little mouths.
And this is not we're not being this is true. This is actually true.
It's true. The Epstein files have already come out. This is the thing.
We're not actually crazy. This is actually happening, and it's in the mainstream media.
And not only that, okay? Not only blood-sucking freaking pedophiles, we also got CAA operatives up in there, okay? And all
CAA?
of this... well, no, not CAA.
Canadian Automobile Association?
CIA, Okay, CIA,
Yeah.
Central Intelligence Agency.
Probably
operatives.
like a good portion of even the blogs and the influencers are actually CIA
Yeah, like,
operatives.
okay, let's talk about Candace Owens for a moment. If anybody out there is listening to Candace Owens as if she is somehow on our side, think again. Tucker Carlson, all of these people, no, even Joe Rogan, no. Come on, people, wake up.
What, Joe Rogan?
No, anybody.
I know he's influenced and paid, but
Yeah,
you gotta
no, Joe
have-
Rogan. He is one of them. They're all one of them. Anyways, all of it is mind control. Mind control. Television. That's all it is.
We should just separate ourselves from all this crap. And let the community entertain the community.
Yeah.
Like, it's much better, you know?
Yeah, and so then also another thing I have on my list, I don't know what else you got on your list, is just like this world we're living in where it's completely centered around consumerism. And so it's like this whole system keeps the elites rich, and it keeps us addicted to dopamine hits. Like, not only is social media messing up our dopamine levels and having us live in this constant state of like, oh, I need to have dopamine, so does consumerism, and the fact that everything is planned obsolescence. So like everything is just constantly breaking. It doesn't matter if you're buying a new vacuum or if you're buying a new pair of Fluvog shoes, you're still getting a dopamine hit nonetheless, and we're all friggin' addicted to it. Well, Jeff Bezos is floating around on his yacht, sucking the blood of frickin' children. So, like, we got to stop this.
Well, I don't know if we could stop it, but we could disassociate ourselves
No, that's
from
what
it.
I mean. We have to stop this. We have to stop it. Like, we don't have to stop the system. We cannot. But we need to stop
God will
doing what
stop
we're
them.
doing. We need to stop doing what we're doing. Is what I
Absolutely.
mean. We need to disengage. And the main point of the message that we have been preaching since day one is that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. It is Jesus.
He's the source.
He's the source, and he is good. He is good. Like, he is good. He is
And-
the king of the universe, and he is good.
And we're going to do a little series on Jesus 101. So that's what's coming up.
We're going to need to edit that out.
Oh, it could be funny. And so one other thing I have here in my list that we, have talked about, and system error, is the poisoning of the air. Like, they're literally like the more it started with just heavy metals, then it started with graphene oxide, and now apparently there's synthetic parasites. They're spraying in the chemtrails. They're there all the time. Can't deny it. Like, you see it all the time up there, and it's like coming down and going into our bodies, and these are self-assembling nano things, and the 5G infrastructure is being erected, and that is warfare against us. Like, these are not just little cell phone towers so we can communicate. Like, some of these cell phone towers have like power cables this thick, which is like 1,000 times bigger than they need to be. So it's like, it's quite obvious what's going on. And when people have pieced it together with the stuff that's in our system, and it's called the Internet of Bodies.
Yeah, it has there was the internet, and then there became the Internet of Things. So that's when all of a sudden, like, we had the smart TVs and your refrigerator and your stove and dishwasher, and all these things started to begin hooked up. So that's then the Internet of Things. And then they started injecting us and populating us with the nano stuff so that it becomes the Internet of Bodies, so that the whole entire Earth is an intricate web of technological garbledy-gook, so to speak.
With AI, like, I'm not even going to get into that, but can you not see the problems of AI taking over everything? Like,
that's
people
a whole episode in and of itself.
I can't even get
maybe.
into that,
Oh
but
my
if that
gosh.
isn't enough to make you want to leave society, like our new vision for community is monkhood.
Monkhood.
And I'm being serious, man. I want to live like out in the bush. Doesn't mean I won't come into the city and do stuff and everything, but I want to be out there in nature and taking all the precautions to cleanse my mind, cleanse my spirit, and cleanse my body, because everything is just so absolutely polluted.
Sauna, touch grass, lay in grass, pet cats, grow food, sleep.
And
Read
where
Bible.
where we're at now is like the web has been spun. Humanity is stuck in the web, and now a good part of the population has been injected by the venom of the spider, and now we're just waiting. As slowly as we're being wound in the web into a ball, you're not going to be able to escape. It's only the people who are aware that this is taking place are removing themselves from the web and getting the heck out. Mm-hmm. And we're at the point pretty much like in the Bible when Jeremiah and the prophets were saying, oh, Jerusalem's going to fall and all this bad stuff's going to happen. And nobody believed them. And like there was other prophets there, but like these ones were outcast, thrown into the lion's den and all these things, prophesying that, the tsunami's coming. And
you had a good analogy about
everybody's sitting on the beach having cocktails, and we're up on the mountain saying, look it, the tsunami's coming. There's no water there. What do you think's going to happen? There was an earthquake, and everybody's being like, you're a conspiracy theorist, or I'm comfortable here. Well, you're drunk on all the cocktails that they've been feeding you, and you're going to get caught in the tsunami. They go watch some of those videos of what happened in Thailand and these other places in the world, like
tsunami
Japan.
Videos scare me the most.
It is terrifying, man. Like you get caught in that, like, oh my, like most people, you're going to die, or if you do survive, it's going to be the most traumatic thing you've ever experienced. So we're up on the mountain in our little shack, and we're saying, hey, yo, come up here. Come this way, because this is what's happening. Jerusalem did fall, and people were eaten by dogs in the streets because everything it fell apart and they were completely conquered.
Yeah.
And like so it's a guarantee this plan is going to play out in some way. Like, and often what I've seen is that like their plan gets delayed even decades sometimes. So I'm hoping that their next big thing is
Agenda 2030.
Yeah, is not coming out by Agenda 2030. It gets pushed back to 2030, 2050, but I guarantee like how much the world has changed between when I was a kid until now, that it's going to be completely unlivable for people to want to be free and people to want any quality of life for your children. But the people that are like 20 right now, or the people that are being born right now, like just think about that in like even 20, 30 years, like what the world's going to be like. And I guarantee that a lot of these cards that they're going to play on the table, like we got nuclear war or threat of nuclear war, world war. When that type of crap happens, the government just takes all control, and they just like, you think that was bad what happened in 2020? Well, this is going to be even worse when they do that combined with like the next pandemic, like all these things together, and like the crashing of the economy. They have all these cards there, and I'm telling you, you want to position yourself on the mountain, not down on the beach.
No, and not only that, it's like we have a duty as humans. We were gifted Earth. Like, this is a precious gift that was given to humanity. God created us, and he said, you know what? Go forth, multiply. You have dominion over this earth. Like, it's yours. Create with me. Let's freaking do this. And just because our ancestors in the past have let go of that original call and that original command doesn't mean that all hope is lost, and it doesn't mean that we can't still stand on the original creation mantle that was given to us. And so in some indigenous cultures, they teach that what we should always be doing when we do anything, or what we should be considering when we do anything, is we should be considering the next 7 generations. It's our responsibility. And so as Adam's saying, like, I have nephews, and so it's terrifying for me to think of them, I don't even know, growing up in the world. And when I speak of the world, I mean the world system. I mean the system that we're shining a light on and saying, like, this is some dark ass stuff. We need to back away. We need to get out and not be a part of it, because the reality is that when we turn away from that, when we go over there and do our own thing, and especially when we go over there and do our own thing as children of God, in the covering and in the anointing and in the authority of the dunamis power of the resurrected Christ, when we take that dominion, like, we're going to be okay. We're going to be protected, because Psalm 91 says, he who dwells in the shelter of the Most High shall abide in the shadow of the Almighty. And then there's more that Psalm 91 says, that I'm going to read it at the end of this broadcast to just wrap it up, because this is reality for those who are brave enough to take that step and be like, yeah, you know what? That's just me looking out the window. Society out there, that ain't for me. They are going to hell in a handbasket. And I don't feel like doing that. I don't feel like going there, because the thing is that we are created, therefore we create. Earth is our home. We have the power. So why would we just succumb to evil when we could rise up in righteousness and live. I don't get it.
Like the true church comes together and, separates themselves from the system. That opens the door for the supernatural. The armies of heaven. We truly believe that, we are sovereign under the Creator, and that this world system is all a contract. And if we ever get challenged in that, that's what we're going to stand on. We'll just see what God happens, or
see what God does.
See what God does. See what happens when God's power truly moves.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like,
I feel like we might need to wrap this up a little bit. I feel like the 53 minutes that we had on the camera might be coming to an end.
So basically, we had to get this out and off our chest, and so we can refer back to this, because we don't want to keep, sounding the alarm and going over this type of stuff. This is the basic of our message, and it's going to come out through our creativity, throughout other things, but we're not going to dwell on this, and we're going to go in a more creative fashion. You're going to see more of just our life and our cats, our beautiful cats, and maybe Julie making art and me making music. I may make a separate channel just for my music, because I've chosen to focus on these things now, because we're prepared as we can, and we're ready if people want to come and, build an actual community, build the true church. We're ready. If people want to do that, contact us. And we will.
And if you don't call us. Honestly, if you don't want to do things, don't bother. But if you want to come hang out at a party where we don't have to have a serious conversation, don't have to listen to you rant about how sad you are about world things, but you don't want to do nothing. Sorry if that was offensive, but we just don't have time anymore. You know what I mean? Life is short, life is sacred, life is precious. And we have been saying, are created therefore we create. And I'm in a season, Adam's in a season where it's just time to freaking be that creative part of the revolution, man.
I feel like we need some sort of centering now.
Yes.
For all this release.
And here we are. Blowing the back of my neck. So Psalm 91. It says, he who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God in who I trust. For it is he who delivers you from the snare of the trapper and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with his pinions, and under his wings you may seek refuge. His faithfulness is a shield and a bulwark. You will not be afraid of the terror by night, or of the arrow that flies by day, of the pestilence that stalks in darkness, or of the destruction that lays waste at noon. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not approach you. You will only look on with your eyes and see the recompense of the wicked. For you have made the Lord my refuge, even the Most High your dwelling place. No evil will befall you, nor will any plague come near your tent. For he will give his angels charge concerning you, to guard you in all your ways. They will bear you up in their hands, that you do not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread upon the lion and the cobra, the young lion and the serpent you will trample down. Because he has loved me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him securely on high, because he has known my name. He will call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will rescue him and honor him. With a long life I will satisfy him and let him see my salvation. God is good, baby. Get to know.
Amen.